Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to StrangeCast, Player One vs. World's Life is Strange fan podcast. This is episode 126, Side A. I'm one of your co-hosts, Adnan and Riaz. My co-host, Adam Evalt, is it? Evalt, you are here.
Am I here? I'm here? Wow. For 126 episodes, I'm here. I'm here, everybody.
Yeah, you remind me of John Travolta from South Park. He's like, oh my God, I'm here. Oh my God.
I don't remind you of Tom Cruise in South Park.
No,
Was he?
he's a fudge packer.
He was in an episode, wasn't he? In the closet?
Yeah,
he gets in the closet.
Nicole Kidman comes and gets him out of the closet. She's like, it's Nicole.
Yeah.
He's in it twice. They really do Tom Cruise dirty twice, because he's in the closet episode and then he's in the one where he's fudge packing.
Yes.
and he wants to get like immunity towards criticism. And there's that part of the second episode, it's like semen is on Tom Cruise's back. It's like Tom Cruise loves having semen on his back. It's like, I'm like the genius, genuinely genius. So, like, if you haven't watched it, I would recommend watching it. My favorite part is when Butters turns to my side, he's like, "Why are you packing fudge, Mr. Cruise?" It's like, I'm not a fudge packer.
See, I can't wait till this administration is normal again, so we can get like back to like celebrity herding rather than political herding. You know, like, not to say that it's like keep your politics out, but like they have to do this like right now in this time frame. But like, I can't wait till till politics are boring again, so we can be like, right, back to Tom Cruise. Like, I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
They've done some celebrities really dirty. There's some really funny ones that they don't have the history. It's like, my favorite one was by far when George Clooney voiced himself. I was like, that's actually quite funny. Like, he's playing the smog cloud that's doing his speech, and it's like outstanding that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back though. This is I think this is our last episode, barring the Patreon. So I think it's our actual normal scheduled one before the Patreon episode, and that will sign off our 2025. So we are right near the end of it. So before we start as well, if you are new here, please do consider dropping subscribe on the channel, turn on notifications, like the video, share with your friends. We're climbing to 2,200 subscribers. If you can help us get there, that would be amazing. And the StrangeCast is available on all podcast services. Check us out on Spotify with the video version, Apple Podcasts. Go and check us out there, go and rate us, go and download us. You help boost our visibility and you get instant access to the episodes as soon as they become available. We are on Patreon as well, so you can support us. Obviously, the Patreon incentive will come live in the week that this is going to drop. Hopefully, these drop earlier as well. I think we did 2 podcasts this week, which is the Sam Bradley one, and also StrangeCast's 125 episodes. So these should hopefully come earlier, because I do want to kind of sign out myself a little bit for the end of 2025. But yeah, Sam Bradley's interview are live as well, so both of them, and I will put a full one up hopefully before the end of the year, so do check them out as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. And thank you for the nice comments as well. It's been really great for you guys to enjoy that. It was a great interview. But yeah, we're back for this episode. We've got a big topic that I was going to start off this as well, because we talked about it in our last episode as well. And I think we can start here, Adam, if that works for you.
I guess it works for me. You didn't ask me beforehand, but you know.
No, I didn't. There's always a surprise that comes in every single time when you come on this call. It's like, what can happen now? And it's like, here we go. So we talked about this in the last episode, and I got the press release, but I don't know if we'll pull it up. It's kind of the IGN and then the presentation. I think it kind of highlights a lot of things that are going on with Square Enix. So it says here as well, Square Enix reports from Vicky Blake says major Square Enix investor slams current performance, urges other shareholders to share quote unquote frank views as it calls for quote unquote fundamental reassessment of its business. So as you can see here as well, it says a major investor in Final Fantasy maker Square Enix has published a 100-page document criticizing the company's performance and calling a fundamental reassessment of its business, citing perceived quote unquote sluggish end quote revenue and profits. In a press statement, 3D Investment Partners, Square Enix's third largest investor, holding around a 14% stake, claims there has been a quote unquote significant deterioration in earning power end quote, despite the company owning some of the world's biggest franchises and being a quote unquote preeminent Japanese game developer end quote. They said here, and I quote, what Square Enix once brought to life was a quote unquote culture that shared an era and an industry that fascinated the world. Is Square Enix really giving birth to something genuinely new, or has Square Enix turned away from the challenges before it and let its steps falter? The document asks, imploring the firm exploring the sorry, this is really weird, really written. Imploring that the firm, quote unquote, surprises us, move us, and ignite that passion we once felt. Look, why is this? This is so poorly. I'm sorry, this is so poorly written. Like, you should never write a block like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. As quote unquote gamers across the globe have been waiting endlessly for irreplaceable experience. Like, can we not understand that Square Enix, IGN, like, just to fracture this up and make it separate sentences? Literally end there and, like, you
Yes.
know, break this off into a separate sentence. Just poor sub editing. And why are you going into another quote? I can't, honestly. Anyway, however, under the newly established management structure, the past 3 years have been marked by profound stagnation in both revenue growth and profitability, with a significant deterioration in its earning powers, as evidenced by declines in its operating income, return on equity, and other key performance metrics. End quote. Calling this, quote unquote, the most critical management challenge, end quote, currently faced by the Japanese company 3D1P, calls the firm to, quote unquote, devise and rigorously implement concentrate measures addressing critical management issues, including the excessive fragmentation of the development portfolio, product design, and promotional strategies that have led declining tie ratios and inflated expenditure, such as development costs. Do you know what? Yeah, let me just quickly finish this off. We respectfully urge a fundamental reassessment of the medium-term management plan with the objective of fully unlocking the potential of Square Enix's distinguished intellectual property and thereby maximizing corporate value. End quote. There's some things about from Kiryu, the president, as well. I'm not going to read anymore. This is one of the worst pieces I've ever read. Like, Square, like, I think IGN should be embarrassed by rewriting that. Like, it's so poorly structured and conceived. Like, just literally quote after quote. It's like, actually make it a bit more concise, but as you will.
Yeah, they've really gone down the hill since they let go of Greg Miller, you know.
Yeah, and Kez McDonald. Oi, governor.
Yeah.
You know what?
It really isn't
it's
the
true.
same. Yeah, like
No.
jokes aside, like, I would say Greg Miller, like, going to like making his own company was like the first of the fall, but I would say like the past 5 years, man, it has
You know
not
what?
been the same. Yeah.
Some people might not like it. Well, I think it was with Colin going as well. Colin was one of their best
Oh
journalists that
yeah.
they had there. He was
Yes.
outstanding. The way he wrote piece. I know people don't like his. You don't have to like his political views. That's his own thing. But he is very, very. He didn't get a lot of. He got some things wrong. Everyone gets things wrong in life. But he was very, very articulate with the way he wrote pieces, and especially like journalism on IGN as well. Like writing certain like pieces as well. It was really interesting. Like he would really find deep dive into certain pieces. But no, they're not being the same. They're just. It's weird how IGN's laid out. I think like they're really struggling now. I think the climate, they're still biggest gaming website in the world, etc. But like the journalism is just questionable at times. I've saw that with the Deck 9 piece, but that's a different story. Adam, before we go into the actual like presentation thing, first thoughts before I even show you the presentation.
Yeah, glad that some shareholders are like showing concerns, right? And I'm not even just talking about shareholders for Square, just shareholders in general, right? I think we're about to see a resurgence. I'm saying this right now, at least in America's standpoint right now. We are starting to see the threshold of a, I'm not gonna say a revolution, but just there's a different word that I'm looking for, but like a revamping. I think there's gonna be a revamp of a businesses, of politics, because we're seeing the shareholder like, hey, something needs to change because we're not making profits. This is a prominent this is a prominent Japanese company. Why are we making more money? We need to like look at the customers again. Same thing with politics right now. We're seeing some GOP members like breaking off, saying like, "Hey, we need something to change." I think pretty soon we're going to see like a change to like a lot of different businesses. But this is just the first step here. You know, shareholders not being happy is going to be the change. You know, not customers not being happy. No. It's the shareholders that become unhappy. That way we get better products.
Yeah, do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me because I think wasn't there a news piece as well where like the hardware sales have gone down in decline as well for like all three consoles.
November for I think not just consoles. I think like electronics in general was the lowest in 30 years. Lowest sales in 30 years, dude. That's crazy. So since 1995 or 96, I think it was.
I think you're right about 95.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it up here. Let me quickly see where it is now.
Yeah, I think it was all
Yeah, there it is.
electronics.
So it's from Sakana, a leading advisor on the complexity of consumer behavior. US video game hardware sales in November were the lowest by units since November 1995 at 1.6 million per thingy. Top selling hardware, PlayStation 5 was top, Nintendo Switch, next Playground, then Xbox Series X/S.
Yeah.
Which I think again is reflective of the industry and the climate of it.
Yeah. I do agree with, I forget who said it. I think it might have been Wolfden that said this, saying that like you could put it in perspective of like, hey, all the people who have who want a console have a console. Like you can only sell so many consoles to so many people that like want a console, right? You can't always go up. So there's that factor, but there's also just like I think it's just consumer spending in general, right?
Yeah.
Like everything is way more expensive, and we're not getting we're not getting raises in our wages. You know,
Yeah. It's
um,
outstripping measures to spend money on
yeah.
games, which are now getting more expensive as per inflation.
And not only that, but it's like I've been saying this for a while, and I'm glad other people on TikTok are saying this too. But when people are their jobs are being taken by AI, right? Then where does the money come from to buy your products? In the same way, like Microsoft's laying off, I think the number was like close to 20,000 employees. Well, that's 20,000 jobs that are kicked off, right? And that job needs to be filled by something. So they have to go to other jobs. That takes away jobs from other people who are from that field. So where is the money coming from? If none of us have jobs because of AI, where will the money come from to buy your product via AI? Like
Yeah.
I think shareholders are going to see this coming because everybody talks about the future being tech bros, which I'm not saying tech bros don't need to exist, but when we're trying to invest, tech bros are not the future, but shareholders are the future. Like the shareholders are the ones trying to become profitable, and tech bros are just trying to innovate. Who's going to win? Money or innovation? You know what I mean? And I think because what this investor is talking about, that he wants money. He wants money. He doesn't care about innovation. He wants money.
The Singaporean, I think they're a Singaporean activist group off the top of my. They are putting a lot of pressure on Square Enix. We'll kind of get into deep dive with them as well in a little bit because
you can talk about that. You can talk about like, oh yeah, they're saying like, oh, the workers are here. We are protesting this. Shareholders want money, and it's just like it's all going to come down to money. How much money can they squeeze out of us? And it's just like
do you know what?
Yeah.
I don't even think it's squeezing money out of us. I think it's squeezing money out of the games because they're not making money off them. Like, because, like, for example, like,
but that's
I've
literally from us. You know what I mean? Like, there's no money in the games until we put money into the games.
Yeah, but it's also like depending on the company. Because, like, for example, I think like with Don't Nod, for example, with its stake of Tencent, for example, I've always been quite worried if Tencent pulls its stake out because it might do.
Sure.
And it's the same with the Saudi government owning part of EA now. They're not taking more debts on and more leveraging because they've already kind of like looking at where they can maximize some kind of profits out of the investments they've been making over the last couple of years. And it's the same with other companies as well, where it's like you look at it. But like, for example, it just kind of pulled up in the algorithm because it was off that tweet as well. The top selling 10 games of 2025, for example, and this is in the US only, right? So the top 10, I'll even read the top 20 actually, I got them here. So Battlefield 6 is top, which I was not expecting that to be the top. I was expecting, oh, well, I shouldn't have, if it was,
I mean,
it was Europe,
they had
EA
great
Sports,
marketing. Like, let's put it that way. Battlefield 6 had some great marketing. Like I saw it on like football games and stuff. So like, it's there.
Well,
like
when Call of Duty's not there. That's why, because Call of Duty's dropped further down, and they've seen them change the development cycle on that as well.
I think people are confused by Call of Duty, like saying like, but by calling it Black Ops 7. I'm sorry, like calling it, that's the newest one, right? Black Ops 7.
Yeah.
Can I just say that not only was the marketing weird for that, I don't think it was well marketed, but calling it Black Ops 7, I feel like just intimidates a lot of people from buying it. Like 7? God, dude, like how many games do I have to catch up on? Versus like Tomb Raider, like it's always like subgenre. Like Tomb Raider Legendary, Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's less intimidating. Black Ops 7. What?
Ironically, Black Ops 7 has ranked at 7 on this.
That's what I mean, though. Even like, it intimidates a lot of buyers, you know?
Yeah, and even Microsoft's changing that. So it's like, you know, they're changing like the formula of building the next Call of Duty game, for example. Because ironically as well, Black Ops 6 is 8th.
Sorry, I was going to say, like, before anybody gets me on the comments of saying, like, well, it doesn't intimidate me with people with Battlefield 6. I don't know, man. There is a difference between calling it Battlefield 6 versus Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Like, not just Call of Duty, but a subgenre. And then 7 kind of like puts you in like a whoa. There's like Ace Combat 7. Or I think they're on 7 right now. Ace Combat, I think it's Ace Combat 8 right now.
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy. There's something about Call of Duty Black Ops 7 that strikes me like, whoa, what have I missed? You know, but Battlefield 6.
You're not wrong. It is a marketing trick afterwards. After a couple of years, when a franchise goes on too long, you usually drop the sub numbers because it gets too daunting for people. Because if it's like Life is Strange 5, you can be like, should I play the 4 games before it?
Yeah,
that's what they change it, and that's what probably a smart idea from Square, because they didn't go Life is Strange 3 and 4 and 5. They like Life is Strange True Colors stands on its own, double exposure. Before Storm, only exposure. 2 is 2, and it's not even like a direct sequel either. It's a standalone game. So it's like, you know, they're very much like pivoted towards that kind of thing. But just like in here, for example, that list as well, there's no Square Enix, for example, but it's like you look at the games: Battlefield 6, NBA 2K26, Monster Hunter Wilds, Borderlands 4, EA Sports College Football 26, Madden NFL 26, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, Ghost of Yotei, EA Sports FC 26, MLB The Show 25, Elden Ring Night Rain, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, WWE 2K25, Minecraft, Forza Horizon 5, Split Fiction, Helldivers 2, Helldivers 2, and EA Sports MVP bundle. So like literally the game of the year in here, Clare Obscure Expedition 33 is not in here.
That's kind of
Lost
crazy.
Records is never going to be on this list.
No,
you look at all these games that are going to be in that genre, they're not going to be in the game. You can see the decline of this, and Square Enix has no game that's going to get in there, in my opinion. In its established IP portfolio, there's going to be no game that ever gets in there.
I just realized, there is no Square Enix game in that list, is there?
No, but they're never going to get in there. What IPs are going to really break into the top 20 of the US?
Can I say something that's even crazier? Is there a single Ubisoft game in that list? I don't think so.
No.
Not a single Ubisoft game.
And that, for example, is indicative of where Ubisoft is, because let me just give you this kind of thing from this.
Like, of course, EA is going to be there. EA is a third-party Nintendo. Like, EA is always going to be on a list. Like, once an EA game doesn't get on any list, call it quits, dude. Just raise me up to heaven, man. Like, the earth is over at that point, you know?
Yeah, and like, for example, like, it's not always indicative, but like, for example, like, that's why there's so much value in Assassin's Creed 4 Remake, because they need a big bounce from it. But like, Ubisoft at its height was trading at about $84 to $85 in 2021 January. The stock price is now €6.30.
Wow.
In 4 years, its entire market cap has been obliterated to the point where this has investors. It has all these other entities that have like thingy, and they're looking at it being like, you know, where's the money here? So it's like, you look at that, for example, that stock price has completely fallen off the map. And then you look at, for example, Take-Two Interactive, which is now trading at $247 with the expectation that Grand Theft Auto is coming out next year. 3 years ago, the share price was about $90. So it's gone like massively up. EA is currently sitting about 205 because it's waiting for its takeover bid to happen, or 203, whichever one it is. But it basically, this is indicative of Square Enix stuff. Square Enix is in deep doo-doo in the most simplistic terms I can put as well. I don't think it's a very healthy company. I've said this for months now when we've been doing the podcast. I think every time we talk about it, it's like, it just shows that there are cracks in the company.
Yes. There's also, we're just in a bland time too. Like, it's just like, it's like a nothing kind of environment that it's just, everything's so boring. I do want to bring up one thing that, like, I heard from somebody, and I just couldn't believe it, but I did. I had to look it up. So Pantone comes out with a color of the year, right? Like what will represent the year, right?
Yeah.
Pantone's color of the year for 2026, and this is no joke. You can go look it up. Sarah. Pantone's color of the year. It's Cloud Dancer. It's called Cloud Dancer. It's white. It is white. It is Cloud Dancer. The color of the year is white.
It's very millennial, that.
Yeah, it's incredibly millennial. But like that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like we don't have a lot of like innovation or buying power or color or anything, dude. And I think investors are starting to wake up and be like, hey, customers aren't really happy. I still remember, man. Here's the thing, man. I still remember I worked in a place that said like, hey, the customers are coming in. And my boss looked at me like, guess the guests are coming in. And in my head, I actually went against my boss like, no, a customer is going in. Because I'm saying this right now. The second you start treating them like guests and part of the family, it's like you start to like undertone like, hey, this is a business transaction. What do you want for money that we can invest into more power? Like the second you treat them as guests, it becomes like, oh, homie, like, oh, like we both want the same thing. Nah, man. Business transaction. What do you want? You want big, powerful movies that you can go to every Friday night? Boom, customers coming in. Give me your money. I don't know, man. We've lost this kind of like business transaction that like, hey, they want color, they want silly things, and they will give us money to do the silly thing. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed about this timeline, man. I hate it, dude. I hate it, dude. Cloud Dancer. White. I don't know.
Well, let's go into the next part anyway, because we can pick up the presentation. We'll go for the entire thing.
Yeah,
100 pages.
go for it, please. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go screaming in a second.
But as you see here,
none of the listeners like it when I scream.
Here is the presentation, which is the one that they did, which was over 100 slides. As you see there, Square Enix Next, the excitement once again. And I've read through parts of it, and it's just like, it's long.
Wait.
It is long.
Go back to the top one. What was it about? Like, it wasn't about entertainment?
It was never just quote unquote entertainment. What Square Enix once brought to life was a quote unquote culture, end quote, that shaped an era and an industry that fascinated the world. And it did.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. Because like there was a time where like you picked up a Square Enix game and you knew it was a banger, man. You knew it was a banger. Can I remind you that Sleeping Dogs was a Square Enix game? May I remind you that? May I remind you that, like, again, Final Fantasy, we talked about Life is Strange. Like, there was a time where, like, you picked up a Ubisoft game, you picked up a Square Enix game, you were in it for a good time. But now it's just like, you kind of have to question. It's so corporate, you know?
Yeah, poorly corporate as well. Not corporate with the sense. It's just, again, another mismanagement step. You can just, as you said as well, Final Fantasy VII, that's iconic, that photo there of Cloud in Final Fantasy VII. And it's like, and even the remake is the only thing that I'm interested from Square Enix at the minute. Like, otherwise, I don't really care, because you can just see how bad the company has fallen apart on so many different levels. But like, this is a very interesting piece. They did hit a lot of points when I was reading through. I was like, this is actually really interesting, like the entire thing. Square Life is Strange is like in here. It was further down in the slides when I was looking at it.
Quest, man.
Yeah, you can see that as well. Like, you know, as one of the industry's leading game developers, Square Enix has long been at the forefront of game development. It's Final Fantasy VII released in 1997, Final Fantasy X released in 2001. Square Enix is an exceptional enterprise endowed with a distinguished history and world-renowned intellectual properties. But again, they've sold off the properties, haven't they? Like, for example, like Sleeping Dogs and stuff. They just sold off tons of IPs and they've run other ones into the ground. Kind of like, right, President Kiryu there in his little timeline, he's getting a little thing there. Look at that though. Look at that, for example. Like, they compare it to other metrics. This is where like they're really showing it off as well.
Yes,
like Capcom and like Konami, Sega and Square Enix and Bandai Namco, and it's just like the difference of it, man. It's like crazy,
man.
write-off
Even
of game
months.
development assets in 2023, and the
Yeah.
spike is absolutely crazy.
Now, what does this mean for? Now, I understand this. That I understand it, but for people who are who are stupid, what does this mean? Write-offs for game development assets.
Indeed. And as you can see at the bottom there, it explains it in very fine text as well. It says Square Enix's records loses on content disposals as write-offs of game development assets, while Sega records restructuring losses associated with cancelled game development projects. Konami records losses on disposable fixed assets, and Capcom records business restructuring expenses as implements of game development assets. It's essentially what you saw with Don't Nod and Banishers and Jusant, where they write off the assets because we're like, we're done here. We're not going to take any more hits on it, and you're offsetting your books in a more layman sense. It's like it's just we're done with this. It's like let's not hemorrhage more money from it. Let's write it off. And sometimes, depending on the situations, you can write off as taxes as well, and like whatever else. Depends on the businesses. I'm not hugely into the game side of things, but usually when a write off happens of assets, it means see you later. Essentially, bye bye. We're done with this. So as
like
you've seen with Banishers,
you strike it in the bin, right?
more or less.
Yeah, because like
I would say more or less.
Yeah, because a stupid person might see that spike and be like, "Wow, good numbers. That's great. Going up."
No, no, this is the one time where going up is not good. But like writing out assets isn't necessarily bad. Like it's good and bad depending on what it is, because sometimes you might write them down because it's like, yeah, actually, let's make it.
You see fiscal year 2018, and there's a decent amount. And 2018 was like a weird time for game development too. It really was. But yeah, you see fiscal year 23, and it's just like, God dang, dude. That's insane.
Massive jump on that. That's crazy.
I miss the time for Matsuda though. I miss reporting on Matsuda. I miss him so much. God, dude, what a character. Yeah.
But it's like, for example, when you compare, here's one really good example to use with the timeline. Just these two, for example. Think about like Nintendo's evolution of like presidents and going through like even the Iwata period and bringing like Nintendo back into focus. It's like you're bringing in figures that really reshape and restructure companies and like really put them back on the path. So like the Iwata era, obviously, you had the entire situation of the Wii U and stuff, but it put Nintendo with a foothold back in the industry. And it's like, we carved forward. That's why, the entire industry mourned Iwata's death when he died. It was a massive moment. And it's like with Jim Ryan, for example. Look at Jim Ryan's era. Jim Ryan's era in Sony has been terrible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely terrible. In that list of the top 25 games, in that lost top 25 games, Ghost of Yote was the only Sony game. And it's like mad that he's the guy who's like, oh, we need to keep making big blockbuster games. And like, with Sony, it's like, yeah, okay, but you're also dying off like your fan base because people aren't going to be waiting 5 years for Wolverine and stuff. They want games now. We're cyclical. We won't play things sooner than later. You don't just do 15 years of marketing. People don't care anymore. We're living in a world of entertainment absorption. Netflix puts out content every week.
It's kind of why I believe Casey Hudson saying that like the fate of the Old Republic will come before 2030, because he comes from the old times of game development where you have an idea and you get it out. Some people seem to forget that Gears of War was developed in like 2 years. I want to say, I think the actuality of like start to finish Gears of War, you can quote me on that because like I might be stupid, but I'm pretty positive that Gears of War took 2 years, right? So Casey Hudson saying like, yeah, I have this idea and we're going to get it out before 2030. It might be 2029, but we're going to get it out before 2030 because he knows that like, hey, we're waiting on this, bro. We want this now, dog. So I'm not saying next year, but it is going to be before 2030 because Casey Hudson knows how to direct a game and finish a game and ship a game. Like he knows it. But
but they have to though. Like you said, you have to get games out sooner now. Like you can't be making the big triple.
Sorry, best example I can give of Casey Hudson knowing how to direct a game. Mass Effect was always written as a trilogy. He had the vision of a trilogy, and guess what we got? A trilogy. And I think those games came out within like 2 years of each other. Yes, because Mass Effect came out in 2007. I say Mass Effect 3 was 2012. I want to say 2012. But like we got a trilogy within the same console generation, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. We're missing that time frame of games coming out like pretty recently so that we can buy more games. I don't know, man.
It's
It's kind of like, yeah.
it's a clear sign because like even this one was interesting. I'm gonna pull it back up there. As you can see, like they even go into the game as well. Deficiency in product design. Square Enix has recently released core titles have received poor evaluations, highlighting shortcommings. So Dragon Quest for 3 remakes there as well, and it's got different comments in here. But even Final Fantasy, like again, 16. Look at that, the turn-based and active time battle system that fans love have
Yeah.
been replaced. The music, which Final Fantasy is famous for, is replaced by generic orchestral cinematic fantasy streams the whole
Yes.
time. Why Square Enix doesn't
Yes.
listen to
That's what I'm
fans?
saying.
Why Square Enix doesn't listen to fans remains the eternal question.
Let's go. An
As if that, as,
official presentation, dude. As someone who's composing, that line in the music of Final Fantasy was famous. Now it's just like generic strings, dude. I'm not
Yeah.
calling out any games right now, but I see that in a lot of games today, dude, where they were known for like craziness. I'm not calling out any games, but I see it, dude. Not just see it, I hear it, dude. I hear these, and I hear other composers, dude. Not calling out any composers here, because sometimes I'm generic, but
yeah,
I hear it, dude. It's just so formulaic. The music is so formulaic and just so predictable that it's just like nothing special about it, you know?
yeah.
So no, dude, I 100% agree with that, and that hits right in home for me.
Yeah.
All except for Don't Nod, and I'm not saying that out of like, because we're a Don't Nod show, but the music of Banishers, banger, dude. The music of Jusant, banger. The music of Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, banger. Like all these, bangers, dude. You get to like Square Enix and Ubisoft, and even like your big AAAs that should afford, like I would say like the most unique sounds were from Clare Obscura and South of Midnight's, especially
Yeah.
Blueprints. You had some really interesting sounds coming out 2025, but you also had some really generic music, dude, that's come out this year.
To be honest, Clare Obscura's music is the kind of thing that you'd close your eyes to and think it's Final Fantasy, and it's ironically not.
Yes, 100%, dude. You knew that Lorient to start, like, just is a geek for Final Fantasy. You know he's geeking out for it.
Yeah.
And then you have South of Midnight that he like geeked out on like Cajun culture. He got the Cajun dressing and he just dumped it into his mouth and he's like saying, "Okay, I understand New Orleans now." That's all he knew. But like he got some crawfish and some other things that come out of Louisiana that I can't think of. He got some po' boys. He got some po' boys.
They've done it because like again, like they've done the same thing on the slides here as well. Like again, we spoke about Forspoken so many times, and like look at they pulled out quotes from Metacritic. It's kind of like evaluate again.
I respect the person that was in our comments saying that they actually liked her. I think it was Kevin.
I think it was Kevin Kestis.
I think it was Kevin Kestis that said he liked Forspoken. I respect you, dog. I tried because it's on PlayStation Extra.
How did you play it?
I played 20 minutes. I was like, I can't. It's so weird. It's so late. I think if I didn't have the knowledge that this game had $100 million budget, like it was the knowledge that I was playing this game and it had 100 million. I was like, so maybe I'll try it again, but like I was unimpressed. Yeah.
It's just it's
though. Like you like what you like. I respect you for it. I was just like, I'm not having a good time.
It's a very big sign of Square Enix again, like just being out of touch with its margin, with its customers and fan base, and then the games they're making, like even that music thing as well. Like they've done it the same with Life is Strange. Life is Strange has lost all sense of music as well. Like they just like you should give like an indie artist like Tessa Rose Jackson the same kind of autonomy as Jonathan Morelli from Sid Meier's, but they don't.
Yes.
It's like it's all like really commercialized and like overblown, and it's like, right, what's that going to achieve? You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't get it.
Like
yeah, it's just weird.
all musicians, I'm going to say all, right, have ADHD. Let that ADHD just go unleashed and just give you some crazy music, dude. Because
Yeah.
I would say most of the time, it's not really the composer's fault. It can be a skill issue, 100%. But a lot of time, it's the director telling them, no, make it like this. No, make it like this. It is a lot of the time the director will say, step in and say, no, that's a bit too much. Tone it down a bit, right? Just there was another composer, and I can't remember who it was, but a composer that said like there's less crazy music now because they're being controlled. Just trust in the ADHD, let them go nuts, right? Just unleash us a little bit, and like we'll give you crazy music.
Look here as well, like this is where Life is Strange is as well, in just its moment as well. So it says there as well, absence of a business portfolio strategy. The current medium-term management plan does not articulate a business portfolio strategy that systematically reflects these perspectives. And as you see here as well, our long-term vision and new corporate philosophy structure with IPs as our core component competence.
Space Invaders.
As our core competence. Will deliver a rich variety of content offering undeniable fun to our customers around the world. And as you see, there's Life is Strange True Colors back in the day. Back in the thingy. But again, like
I love how they still own Space Invaders though.
Well, yeah, it's Square Enix's decisions, isn't it? Like, you know, there was something about entertainment as well. I think it was like the TV side and property. I can't remember what it was now.
Why do you own the IP Space Invaders? Like, you sold off so much. Do they still own it? That's crazy.
Why do you own entertainment Space Invaders?
I guess like royalties, they still own it, so like it still generates money.
I think there was something about television in here, films and TV. I think I can't remember what it was now. Jesus Christ!
Is there anything about the Epstein files in this?
Probably get close to it at this rate. There's 100 pages, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff in here. There's so much in here. Like they were talking about, and they really hit the nail on the head with like a lot of it. I think they talk about films and like, you know, the diversification of the media into different things as well, into different platforms. And it's like you can just tell that they're just not going to. Look at that though as well. Square Enix has recorded the largest write-offs among industry peers.
Wow!
Write-off game development assets in Japanese yen.
As an unstupid person, I know that write-off's bad thing. It's like golf.
Yeah,
it's like golf. Because I'm
just
not
written off assets time and time again because they just.
By the way,
well, they just keep.
I very much appreciate that Sega is under Sega Sammy.
Yeah, good old Sega Sammy.
Sega Sammy.
It's something else, man.
Well, look at that one. Yeah, I was just about to say, dude. Best practice Pokemon, dude. Best practice.
Merchandise sales. Square Enix's core IP significantly lags behind practices indicating considerable room for improvement.
Why are
Final Fantasy has
merch? Dude,
Final Fantasy has a 97% off difference from Pokemon.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
Dragon Quest.
You look at like retro clothing stores. You talk about vintage markets, dude, and the bangers of merch, dude. The bangers of merch, especially Pokemon merch back in the 90s. Come on, man. Let people go insane and just merch out, man. It's just like for an indie studio, yeah, you're doing merch, but you're Square Enix, man. You've got the resources. You've got the resources. Capcom, you got the resources to like merch out, dude. Like make some extra profit. But like that's the thing. They're so worried about DLC. They're so worried about live service games. Like, how do we generate revenue? Well, the game merch.
It's because the focus groups don't tell them that, Adam. That's why they want the new Welcome to Caledon University book. If they don't focus group it, they're not going to do it. That's simple.
I would rather get a bunch of merch than do a live service game, dude. Like that's the thing. How did other companies make so much money? I remember where Sean Layden was talking about like, oh man, there's less sports cars now. Well, what's the difference? You know, what's the difference? You were still selling single player games that had a one-time release, no live service, and yet there was more sports cars in the lots. Like, what are we talking about? Because you merged it out. You got people marketing. You have people talking about it. I believe that we're talking about 100 million. We're talking about 100 million. I'm pretty sure that Halo 3's marketing was 100 mil just to market Halo 3, right? And we got merch from that, and we got we got Game Fuel from that. We got Game Fuel, the best Mountain Dew flavor. Is behind Baja Blast. There's Game Fuel, there's Baja Blast, there's Code Red. End of discussion here.
I don't get, for example, like just even like the simple things. It's like they could literally reprint the first vinyl from Life is Strange and sell that every single time. They could even do it like a limited run if they were scared not to make money off it, but they would make money off it. They could easily just reprint that vinyl and it would make fucking tons of money.
I'm telling you, dude, like, why aren't we merching? You know? Now, I do feel now going aside of thing, something I've been thinking about a lot of just like me as a musician and people like I want people to buy my music instead of like streaming it on Spotify. And there is a thing about that. I've been thinking about this a lot though, and this is trust me, I have a point here about what we're talking about. Don't worry.
Right.
But I'm talking about merch too. Like, oh, buy the merch, buy the games, buy this. And I'm like saying like buy my albums on Bandcamp for like $5. But here's the problem when I talk about like things are more expensive and wages are lower. I kind of feel terrible. And not terrible is not the word. I kind of feel like it's kind of like not terrible, not guilty. But just kind of like I feel a reality setting in that like I'm asking people to buy my music when they're trying to buy groceries. Like they're struggling to buy groceries right now. They're struggling to pay rent. And I'm asking them like, hey man, if you want better music, you gotta buy albums. But like, how can you buy albums? How can you buy merch when jobs are being taken away? You can barely afford groceries, right? So I have that reality set in that I would rather you buy my stuff on Bandcamp than stream it on Spotify. But at the same time, with this, like, hey, merch it out, sell merch. Well, if you can't buy bread, how are you going to buy a T-shirt? You know?
Yeah.
It's
it's reality. The money financials aren't great, and even like when you used to buy collector's editions back in the day, you used to get the disc. Now you don't even get that, which is like even more embarrassing. Like you're stripping back assets for people to buy things, and you're not like effectively marketing certain things. Like what you need to do as well, merchandise. Not everything spins on merchandise. It's about picking selective merchandise. So picking out the top sellers. So like for example, if you were going to do the Life is Strange brand, you would get out certain things which you could sell. So what they do poorly, Square Enix, is they spin off the assets to Sanchi and other places which quickly put out all kinds of content. And it's like, to be honest as well, you should be focusing on certain assets which will sell in terms of the ones that are going to be big sellers. You're not going to make a Warren plushie because the demand's not big enough. You're going to make the Rachel Amber, the Max Caulfield, the Chloe Price, and the main ones, which are going to be the delivering ones. And same with the vinyl as well. Like you'd reprint the first vinyl, you wouldn't reprint the second one because it would never make the returns on it. But the first one would reprint and it would make massive amounts of money from you. Because like even if you did like a limited run, you could easily jack up the price at double the price and make the money from it. But Square Enix doesn't want to do that. I think we'll move on from it as well from this in a moment because it is going to go on for a while. But I think I found the entertainment part, Adam, as you can see there as well. The film adaptations of Square Enix's core IPs are lagging and the cross-media strategy remains inadequate. I think this really relates to the Square Enix Life is Strange TV show that's coming up as well soon as well. As you said, that's cumulative box office revenue of new game IP films. As you can see, their best practice, Resident Evil. Well, I mean, those films are very, very questionable, but you know, Mila Jovovich is smashing those, isn't she? Is it Mila Jovovich? Yeah, it's Mila Jovovich.
Yes,
it's Mila Jovovich. Yeah. As you can see there, Monster Hunters down the bottom. Street Fighter. Oh, you know, my boy Raul Julia could have made those numbers go higher if he was still here. God rest his soul. Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, all in the bins.
Yeah.
Which, again, this is why I don't put that much faith in the strategy of the TV show. Is the TV show really going to make huge numbers?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's not. It's
Mila Jovovich. You were correct, by the way.
There we go. Yeah.
Thanks to AI Overview. AI Overview says Mila Jovovich is the star. Which, you know what? Like, can I like just a side note on the use of AI for like Google searches? I don't really mind that. Like a whole AI overview. Like I don't I don't mind that. It's where you're like, but AI can also do music. Did you know that? Fuck off. But yeah, so no, it's true, dude. Like there's nothing on merch, there's nothing on movies, there's like nothing, and especially like you said, like the Life is Strange TV show. Is that going to do numbers? Is that going to
No.
hold up? I don't think so. I think Fallout is such a Fallout and Last of Us is such an outlier, right?
Yeah.
You can't really, but they're done so well. Like aside from Last of Us 2, I did not see the second season.
Yeah.
People are disappointed about the second season, but Fallout was done so well that people are liking it, right? And it goes to show. I now if any game developer is listening to this, any musician, anybody's doing the arts, I want you to get a pen and paper. Okay. So write this down. All right. If you want to make money, you have to make a good product. I know
Mhm.
it's a little, I know. Oh my God. It's so weird. In the same way, I'm going back to like, oh, buy my music, right? Buy Cast Garden music. I know that I am not like The Weeknd, right? I
Yeah.
know I'm not like mine is not a premium product because ready, like you know how I make my music in this room. I make it in this room. I make it in just like a bedroom studio, right? Um like I don't have a mixing engineer or anything like that. I am the guy. So when I say like buy my product instead of buying The Weeknd's music, I'm not a premium product, right? But I try to make it as good as I possibly can because if I'm going to ask you to buy my music, if I'm going to ask you as a game developer to buy my services to make music for your game, you better believe I'm going to make you the most premium product that I can possibly give you in my skill sets, right? Because if you want
Mhm.
people to buy your product, you have to make a good product. Goes into the show. Why do people like the Fallout series? Because it's good. It's generally a good show. It's generally well written, well produced, visually outstanding. It's great. And then now you take a look at Halo. Halo bombed because it was just like weird, cheap, and just like the story didn't make sense for the Halo lore. Like people just fell off after season 2, you know?
Mm.
So I don't know, man. Make a good product and people will buy it. I don't know, man. As good of a product as you can do.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard as well because it's hard to keep people's attention on something. Like for example, do you think that Life is Strange TV show will do as many numbers as 13 Reasons Why in the first week?
See, that's a hard question because I think if this show came out during, if they shared like the same like year frame, 13 Reasons Why, I would say yes. But we're in a different media landscape, right?
Yep. It's gone.
Uh I
It's
think that
gone.
like yeah, it's a different era. I don't
Yeah.
know if
Because
people yeah.
Life is Strange has been done. Riverdale, 13 Reasons Why. You know, even like Yellow Jackets, for example, Lost Records, they came out into a different spawning of thing. Like,
Yeah.
Lost Records, Stranger Things, Yellow Jackets, those kind of vibey films. That's what it turned into TV. Life is Strange's TV formatting, which would have been banger back in 2015-16 if they got it off the ground in the
Oh
Netflix
yeah.
era, that would have been incredible. It would have got numbers because, like, for example, and I just pulled it up to double check, in its debut 3 days, 13 Reasons Why, 6.8 million people watched it in the US alone. And that's mad. I think it's pretty much higher than Stranger Things as well to start with. Stranger Things was word of mouth picking up, stuff like that. And it's like that, 13 Reasons Why I had a lot of the formulaic beats of Life is Strange in parts. But it's like Life is Strange is not going to get 6 million. It'd be lucky to get 1 million on
Yeah.
Amazon. I really do think it'd be lucky to get 1 million. It'd have to be a word of mouth thing where people watch it and stuff. And this is from an established IP, but it's an established IP. You've run into the ground. You've run the IP into the ground. You haven't kept Life is Strange's legs on support. The legs have buckled. The
Yeah.
entire franchise is all over the place. It's sprawling everywhere. You've done even more damage with the last entry. We've actually put the nail in the coffin with the last entry. And you've seen what they've done with their the Western studios and, the Western division of Square Enix. They've absolutely butchered it now. It's like, they've realized they've buckled legs on it. You missed your opportunity. You missed your beat. You had all these assets, everything else with it, and you haven't commercialized it. And I've said this time and time again. Look at Square Enix's history of Final Fantasy. It is like repeat, rinse of like tragedy. That fabulous novella Crystal series that happened, it was like, my God, it was like watching torture at some points. We were lucky to even get Final Fantasy 15 in any incarnation at the end.
Oh God,
I
yeah.
really like Final Fantasy 15, but it was like, you can see that it's deeply flawed because of the game that it eventually conceived, but they stuck their feet, they stuck their, heels into the ground and they just ran with it, Square Enix. And you've seen it time and time again when they've done it as well. They've done the same thing with Life is Strange, and you've seen what's happened to it, the results of it. They are now putting a Welcome to Caledon University book out there. I'm sure it's going to smash numbers and stuff in between.
I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. God, dude. Yeah. What's the other thing that
Out of Focus.
What was it?
Rosie 4. Out of Focus.
Yeah. They're not even marketing that. There's like a couple things that like
cover.
Yeah. Like there's a couple things that like we're talking about this on this show, and people are just like, oh, I completely forgot about that, because they don't market it. They don't market it.
No.
There's no merch. There's nothing.
When you like kind of like wrap up, because we've got the other topics to go into, and we'll kind of move on. One thing that happens here is, and this is a kind of a strategy, when you dig your hands into something, you keep people in it. So, for example, look at Disney, right? Yes. Disney's strategy is about grooming a new generation of young people to care about it. But equally, look who also is at Disney World and Disney Palace. You have people in their 30s, their 40s, parents, even young. I'm not taking the mick out of anyone where they go there. As well, you see like young adults with like Mickey Mouse and having the time of their life taking a photo. You're living a childhood dream. You're living that.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. There are apartment buildings and like townhomes in Disney World that you can move to. You can live in Disney World.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I don't know if you know that, but there is housing that you can purchase inside the park, and you can live there as just like a residence. That's what they're doing. That's such.
But you have to. Mentality. You have to dig your roots into the next generation, because if you can't retain that, the long-term implications are going to be massive, because it's the same with Life is Strange. They didn't dig their hands into people and keep them for the long run. They've let them go away, and they've not like kept the IP as fresh as it has been, like kept people entertained in it. You have to like keep people hooked in something. You have to like get them involved in it. Same with WWE, same with Disney. Like you need to keep people constantly wanting to come to the product. You need it be affordable as well on top of that. That's another big thing as well. You need people to actually care enough to pay for the investment on something, which they don't. Yes. So, yeah, it's a something. So that's that. Should we go into the next piece quickly?
Before I do, I need to show you real quick. Look at that price point right there.
There you
go. Within the park. But there is a home available if you want it. If you got an extra $13 million, you can live at Golden Oak Realty in a Walt Disney World resort. You can live there if you want to.
The dream.
Yeah. But yeah, go for it, dude. If you're man, $13 million is burning in my pocket, you go ahead. You can do it. I believe in you, guy. I believe in you, Kestis. If you cancel your Patreon, you could afford that.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's move on to the next part quickly, because we're going to wrap these up before we go. This kind of like knocks on to the last part as well. So this was from Jacob Navok, who is previously worked at Square Enix, was director of business at Square Enix Holdings. Really always very insightful for life, for Final Fantasy and not Final Fantasy, Square Enix stuff as well. I would recommend you check him out on Twitter as well. He's got very insight in it. But as you can see there, he's put as well, this is on the report that we've just been covering. But one thing people do not realize about Square Enix is that the actual a flow of the stock, the number of freely available shares is quite small. 3D investment, the investment firm thing, bought up many of those shares over the last year, in its run to get nearly 15% of the company and become its second largest shareholder. Unlike a short seller, they want the price to go up. They need to unlock the value. They are actually closely aligned with what many fans want, which is Square Enix running at its prime. I think the company can get there with the right management philosophy, which is as real as it gets. And yeah, he's given like a lot of insight into the replies and stuff, which is quite interesting. Very, very much. I think there's one here as well, which is go here. I think see here. Zoom in there. You got right. It says someone responds saying, "Jacob, I want to say I have a great deal of appreciation for how you've helped us make sense of Square Enix's current situation. I'd like to ask in ways you think aligning with what fans want. I think I already have an understanding. I want to be sure." But that's a good question. At the end of the day, there's actually a bit more. It's big replies, but that's a good question. At the end of the day, I think of it like any CEO thinks of how a company works. When your sales aren't meeting expectations and your margins are behind your competitors, you become risk averse. This means you create safe content and don't expand your business. Great creators leave. So what they need is for the business to get back to sales that are profitable. This means high quality, but with small dev teams and small dev cycles, and not thinking about that they're going to compete with CODs of the world, but with Clare Obscures of the world, and really innovate on gameplay.
Oh, I like that. I like that statement right there.
Yeah, but it's right though, because why is Square Enix competing with a Call of Duty? They're not Activision. They're a Japanese developer publisher entity. They are going to be competing with a Clare Obscure, and they need a smaller development team, smaller cycles, and getting people invested in something, and then also not doing stupid strategies by making exclusive deals. Why was Final Fantasy VII Remake released as a PlayStation exclusive? Why? You just alienated tons of PC, Xbox gamers, everyone else in between it. They did the same thing with Rise of the Tomb Raider. Do you remember that? It was all marketed on like
I
the
remember
Xbox,
that.
like, oh, it's part of the greatest game lineup in all time. It's like, okay, cool, but also Tomb Raider is a heavily associated PlayStation branded game in its past.
Yes.
So it's like you're going to the Xbox platform. It's like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
really
For like a
really
timed exclusivity. It's so weird. Like I hate timed exclusivities. Like when you market it as a timed exclusive, why?
Yeah.
Like why? I don't understand, man. Like it's one thing to be like a shock of like, hey, God of War is now on Xbox. Like, oh, that's such a, or like Gears of War coming to PlayStation. Oh, that's so weird. But when you market it as like timed exclusive, so it's like, okay, why? It's just dumb marketing, dude.
But it's like here as well, like you put as well, fans should want a healthy, successful company. It benefits them because the better the company does, the less risk averse they are, and the more willing they are to experiment. Which, like again, that for me fits in that formula when I said like, don't not make games with publishers. When you have a bit of money, make a Jusant and make it as a self spin-off where you have fans and people can buy it. So you don't make a risk adverse assessment, which, for example, leads to write-off, because that's what they did. They wrote Banishers, they wrote Jusant's assets off because it's like, well, it didn't work. And it's like, well, fantastic. And then you've restructured projects within the company. You've also scrapped two of them because you put them in production lines. You need to be like savvy with how you're spending money. And he's put here as well, I think someone said here as well, the main criticism I've seen about slides, is that they may be inaccurate due to a reported history, quote unquote, investor activism. Since you know this industry and SC, how much you trust what they say? It says he's put here as well as a response. Oh, there you go. Look at that. He's put some of the data, like the FF16 cost is probably wrong, but most of the slides are just based on public facts that are indisputable. The margins of the competitors, they're publicly stated, past financials, the Metacritic numbers, etc. We don't know how many of 3D's requests, like IP licenses, could be already in progress inside the company. We also don't know whether the current management has really good plans of tackling their deck. It's possible that everything is good, no clue. We also assuming that the information provided, the management responses to the presentation is correct, that the deck was presented and ignored. We have no one else to rely on for this info. If it is true that the deck was ignored, then we should assume that many of their suggestions are being ignored too. Typically, management would be prepared for a good public explanation about the missing details about their plans, as it would give confidence to not just their second largest investor, but their investor base as a whole, which is what, when you see when don't know when it's reporting earnings, it's being very transparent with its shareholders and stuff. I suspect the November midterm business plan update was an attempt to do that and get ahead with the deck publicly coming out. But Square Enix's November presentation was sorely lacking. Note that the 3D IP presentation was based on not on November's deck, but the May deck prior, because the 3D IP presentation was apparently done in September, which lends the credence that the November November IR presentation was intended to get ahead of this. So again, like, are they actually listening to their stakeholders? Are actually listening to anything that they're doing? Like, big questions, man. I don't think Square Enix is doing it. Like, how can you really have any faith in what they're producing at the minute? They've run Life is Strange into the ground. That IP is pretty much buried now at this point. They've sold off tons of IPs in the past, the Embracer Group, and sold them all off. They're gone. They've now canned their Western division, which is the London studio, and pretty much the North American divisions are being torn apart.
Yes.
What are they doing here? What is next? The only thing that I can see, which is like I'm looking forward to from Square Enix, is Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, and I don't even know when that's coming.
Yeah. There's no information on that at all. Like, it's
just
insane.
like little things. There's no release date though.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm talking about. Just like, there's no communication with game development. There's like nothing. There's nothing to get you hyped about it like it did in like the mid 2000s, right? Like, talk about like 2006 through 2010, dude. Like, the game marketing was unreal, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, there was just like a time point where you just like, you saw a game trailer and you're like, oh, I'm hype. I'm so hyped, dude. And you're gonna play that like tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
No, it's insane, man. It's insane. Like, we're in this time frame. Yeah.
This game's changed though.
Not just games, but just media in general. It's just a different landscape now. Like, do you remember back in the day? And by back in the day, I'm talking about like the mid 2000s, 2006, 2012, right? Dude, you could go to a movie theater on a Friday and just buy a ticket. Just any ticket. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because like any movie that you see in a theater, it's going to be like, it's either going to be a banger or it's going to be like, okay. It was rare that you went to a movie like, man, that was a stinker. You know what I mean? Like, you got your movies that you're just like, oh man, that sucked. But like, it was like a handful of times. But most of the time, you could just go to a random Friday, buy a ticket, and have like a decent time. Now, I'm thinking about like going to the movies now, and it's just like, you have to research, man. You have to see like, well, like do I really want to pay $25 for a ticket that's like, it might be okay? Like, it turned from a handful of times to be stinkers to a handful of times being like great movies, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an evolution of things, because you used to be able to trust a pre-order, but you can't now. You used to be able to trust back in the day of putting a pre-order in. Now you can't do it, because like they sell off the little details, they skin it off as DLC, they do something else to kind of like incentivize you to pre-order it, because it's all about the numbers game. Like, the incentive of what a pre-order was to start with is completely gone. The element of going to a midnight release is gone. The socialization of that has gone. All the other elements that have gone to make the kind of experience a bit more kind of connected, it's all gone. So it's like people aren't that interested in those things necessarily anymore. It's like when they reveal that Street Fighter film TV show at Game Awards. They're talking about it. I think they brought the cast out.
Yes.
And it was like, Street
Fighter,
okay. Yeah. And you know, is it going to really make them do a dent there?
I forgot they were making The Housemaid, which is a Frida McFadden book, which is, it was an okay book, but it's starting in Sydney Sweeney, and Sydney Sweeney is just like, yeah, not that great. But I'm just looking at the movies right now. You have Avatar, Fire and Ash. You have SpongeBob. You have Zootopia 2. You have Friday Nights at Freddy 2. You have Wicked 2, essentially. You have Now You See Me 3, I think. You have Jujutsu Kaisen, who cares about anime? Nobody cares about anime. But it's like all these like,
I would see none of them. That's reflective of the consumer base.
I would see Durhandar. You would see Durhandar, right? It's 3 hours.
You would have to pay me to see them. You'd have to pay me to see them. That's the irony of the thing now.
My guy, it looks so good. It's 3 hours and 42 minutes. Look at that. Isn't it nice?
Oh God.
Why don't you come? Why don't you come see it with me? Come here to the States. We'll watch a 3 hour 42-minute movie. Would you like that?
I'm not. No.
Why not? It's so good.
Right. Should we get through our last couple of pieces? We'll just fight through them, because we'll wrap up this part of the podcast then.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just put them in there, and we'll go through them quickly. So as you can see here,
if I remember what that movie was, I actually do think it's a banger. I actually think that
Jesus.
actually, like, without even exaggerating, I forgot about the movie. I think it's supposed to be a banger.
As you can see here, this kind of just wraps up that last piece. As you can see, it says Dr. Saran Toko, who is a CEO of Japan Game Industry Consultancy, put here as well. The investor stake in Square Enix now reached 15.40%. Only Enix's founder, Yoshiro Fukushima? Yeah, Fukushima. Yeah, Yoshiro Fukushima now has more shares, and then also added Jacob's tweet in there as well, which is it kind of tells you a lot again of like that situation. So we will keep an eye on it. Let's see where Square Enix goes from there.
Very cool.
Life is Strange. God help us all. But Adam, as you can see here, quick one as well. Don't know it as well. But Jusant's music is going live. The original soundtrack by Guillaume Ferran and Maia Collette. Maia Collette.
Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce that I in the middle.
Has been recorded live, raw and intimate, and is now available. Brand new album edited by Kid Katana. We love Kid Katana, so Kid Katana has done that. Now available on all streaming platforms, so you can
including Bandcamp. Including
Bandcamp, so you can see that there. And this is the final one as well, which is that winter sale has started at Don't Nod. Many games are on sale as well there. So you have Lost Records, Twin Mirror, Jusant, Harmony, Koira, Gerda, Lonesome Guild, a lot of games on sale, and then obviously
I've only not played one game on there. I played Jusant. I played. I have not played Lonesome Guild yet. Jusant, banger. Harmony, banger. Lost Records, banger. Gerda, depressing in this time frame. It is a little too real in this time frame. And Koira, cute, banger. Lonesome Guild, I have not played yet.
Interesting nonetheless. But as you can see, Adam there as well, the gaffer, Michel Coase. But if you enjoyed Life is Strange 1 or 2 and never tried Lost Records, it is the perfect time. If you know Life is Strange lovers who didn't try Lost Records, tell them about it.
Yeah.
So Michel, the professional, has told you there.
Yes.
Play Lost Records. Look at that marketing, man. It's like getting to people. It's like, it's just very difficult to like crack through to people like nowadays. People just move on. They don't play video games and thingamajiggies anymore. You know, we're getting old.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll wrap up here because we've done the first part. Stay tuned for our second part. It'll be coming soon. We could have gone on for that conversation for ages for what it was. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on what's going on with Square Enix. I'm sure they'll have very, 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 very interesting surprises for you all in 2026.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like that was me doing that thing where it's like Stewie does it when he goes and sees it's that sketch where he's with Brian and he goes and sees the news anchor and he has that kid and he has like a really weird shaped head.
It's
like his son, and he's like upside down. He's like this. He just turns his head like slowly. It's like
I'm about like a lost cause, man. Like Family Guy isn't the same as it was, man.
And as well, that is true. And American Dad. I used to love American Dad.
Yeah.
Roger used to be my spirit animal.
No,
great then.
Look what they did to my boy. Look what they did to him.
What they did to my boy. Roger singing Jolene was like highlight peak era of like American Dad of like content. And him and Stan, like, that one where he slaps Stan and Stan hits him with a chair. He's like, of course I'm her. He hit me with a chair. No, but yeah, you'd right again. Look there, Family Guy. It's like, you know, legs only last as long as you do, and when you keep the right talent and whatnot, you know, that's why when people are buzzing about the Simpsons movie, I'm like, no, it's not going to be the same, man. That Simpsons sequel, the Simpsons first movie was a pass at most, but it's like this one's not going to be the same, man. There's no one there that's the Simpsons quality. And the minute you watch Simpsons season 4 again, you realize the quality is night and day difference.
No, it's just not the same anymore.
No, it's not.
Always trust British shows though. British shows always banger. Name me one British show right now that is not a banger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Name one.
Yeah. Great British Baking Show, banger. Staff sells flats or whatever the show's called. It's banger. That show.
A Hayley Williams' personal favorite, Gogglebox. She loves Gogglebox.
Gogglebox, banger. Ghosts, the British version, not the American version. Banger. Like, dog, bangers all around.
Yeah. Stick with our TV shows rather than the Americans. The Americans just butcher our interpretation of things. But yeah, we will sign off here. So thank you for joining us. We'll give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers before we go. So thank you so much for subscribing on Patreon. We have Kevin Lackner, Sunday, Clare McLoughlin, Jake, Carly, Goldberry, Kevin Kestis, Clarx, MrAnselmi, Spunger, Lost Fan, Paul Groschke, Xavier, and Ashlyn now. So thank you so much for that. The support on Patreon is really appreciated. And stay tuned. There is a Patreon incentive coming very soon. Then hopefully going to 2026, we'll start picking up other Patreon incentives as well. It's just kind of slow. Everything is just slowed down. So apologies about that. But yeah, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are new here, please do consider dropping a subscribe on the channel, turn notifications, like the video, and share with your friends. We're almost at 2,200 subscribers. So if you can help us get there, that would be amazing. And StrangeCast is available on all podcast services. Check us out on Spotify with the video version, Apple Podcasts. Go and rate us, go and download us, go and follow us. It helps support our visibility. Stay tuned. Side B will be coming in this week, hopefully before Christmas, because I'm going to try and get these episodes out beforehand. And then obviously the Patreon incentive will be live in the week that you're getting it. We're recording on the 20th of December, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, until next time, guys, see you later. Bye.
Later.
Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.